You have a lot of bizarre segments.
Mm.
How the hell you do this stuff?
Go yourself.
The
My
first
bad.
ever live off cam. Ooh, and I'm very sweaty. Hi,
I'm sweaty
guys.
too. I have a flu.
Do you? Oh my gosh. Well, that's very nice of you to do this.
It was either this or the voiceover job where they wanted me to scream all day.
Aw,
So-
well, I promise you'll enjoy this less.
Yay.
I have Tom and Demi here. I'm so excited that you're both here, and thank you so much for doing this. I met you both 6 months ago for a Hollywood Handbook recording. That was a blast.
I really don't like you mooring me in time like that. I would have said that was like last month. Oh my God.
Are you
dude.
serious?
Yeah, I'm fucked.
Well, you weren't even there in the country.
That's right. That's why I don't have a perception of it.
Yeah.
God damn.
Demi said something on and off mic that was very funny. The off mic thing I think about all the time, maybe not all the time, that sounds weird, is before you left, I told Demi, oh, Go Off Kings are doing the show tomorrow. And Demi said, oh, have you met them before? And I said, oh, Jesse did Hollywood Handbook a few years ago. I've never met Stefan though. And you kind of leaned in and went, all right, well, there's something you need to know if you meet him. And I was like, oh, okay. Demi said, you're going to feel this overwhelming sensation. And she whispered, to knock his fucking lights out. So I'm just giving you a heads up because most people don't know that when they first meet him. So just giving you a heads up.
Yeah. That was how I felt the first time I ever met Stefan. And I was like, man, I really just want to like fucking attack you.
Yeah.
And he was like, would you believe that you are like the fourth person to tell me that? And all those guys didn't talk to each other either. So
yeah, you're kind of the messenger.
attackable
You're
guy.
like the leader letting everyone know.
I think that, yeah, Stefan does have like a prey pheromone that's incredibly strong.
It
Tom,
is.
what you're doing on the other screen is very distracting.
Okay, I just
What are you
wanted
playing?
to I'm not. I'm saying me and Demi are live on Chef Kevin's channel
Oh, that's nice of you.
right now. And I'm posting that to my various alt-right discords, and they'll be here within a minute.
Well, the chat just got very toxic.
Perfect.
I'm a big fan of your podcast, bigsofttitty.png. I'm a big fan of both of you in the streaming world. You're both super funny. I wanted to ask about your early days because you're so creative and funny and you have all these outside of the box, I think of outside of the box ideas with your pod and streaming. I know you're both come from like performative backgrounds. Is that connected to that? Were you always like that? Just interested in like your early days in comedy land.
Do you sense a trap also?
Yeah.
Like, it's so scary being... That was like... That was like the moment in the horror movie where the music changes and like the getting together with my friends from back home doesn't seem like such a good idea anymore.
Yeah, we're getting get outed.
Yeah.
He's gonna start stirring his tea.
I kind of feel like I'm a taco stand in front of the DMV where people are like, hey, this seems fun. And then they realize like, oh, fuck, I'm in line. Like, I guess I needed to get this. It feels like I'm definitely taking the bait and switch approach to streaming.
No, I started comedy when I was 15, and I was like, well, I might as well do this.
Yeah.
So I'm already this old whore, so I might as well just.
Demi was doing stand-up comedy in like bars that she couldn't legally get into in suspenders and a bow tie.
Oh man, yeah, you didn't have to bring that up, but I did wear those, and
It's so nice.
and a little hat as well. Yeah,
That's
sometimes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Little suspenders.
It was rough. But
what
also,
kind of
what?
observational? What kind of comedy were we doing at 15?
I'd be like, hey, one of my this is one of the jokes that I told in my first ever set. I was 15.
Great.
Remember, and I was like, I can't swim. Sorry, I can't drive, and my dad really wants me to learn how to drive. And I'm like, well, I can't swim, and what if I drive into a lake?
Nice. Okay.
And he was like, that's fine, I'll get you swimming lessons. And I was like, okay, so I can't drive, and what if I swim into a car? So checkmate, Dad.
That's great.
That's
cute.
Loser.
Yeah, that rocks.
Such a little loser.
I like it. I could picture me in the audience, like a little nervous, hoping like you land it. Like I kind of feel.
Oh my God. I've thought about that since I became an adult. I've thought about like, oh my God, people were watching a child get up on stage.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how nervous they were for me? That's
Luckily,
terrible to do to people.
Like no one at the open mic has any emotional intelligence, but if you do, you're watching like just a child take personality damage in real time. Like, and either way, like either they're like suffering a crushing defeat or they're becoming addicted to laughter.
Yeah.
And they're getting not personal growth, but like personal widening. You know, like it's not making me better, but it was making me go, gee. You know what I mean?
Just watching a
personal
child.
growth, but like how if you leave a bean plant in the dark, it grows tall and strange and wiry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Watching a child experience trauma from a crowd, and you're like, do it. I'm just gonna best of luck, buddy.
Anybody gonna do any?
Do we start
anything,
clapping? Does clapping help?
Maybe.
I did a very bad open mic in college, but I started really strong for a joke that was just very dumb. The guy who went right before me, I had no idea who he was. He did some like weird, he was attempting like a racist joke where he was like trying to do it like,
so cool.
Isn't it interesting how these guys are kind of like this and this is, and it was like dead, you like fully hear a pin drop, brutal. There, and he's like, that's it. And then like 3 people clapped. It was very awkward. They introduced me. I grabbed the mic and was like, that was kind of weird. And it got like a huge wave of laughter. And then I just proceeded to bomb. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah. That's the rough thing when you're like, well, that guy was fucking crazy.
Yeah, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, that was weird. And he was like, what are you gonna do?
We just realized we don't like you either.
You're not much better.
You positioned yourself outside of the open mic for like 3 seconds, but then unfortunately you remembered, I came here to do the open mic.
Yeah.
I think my first joke right after that was like, some people say I sound like a depressed Kermit the Frog. And like one person was like, oh, yeah. It was like the 10 to 1 was so sudden. And it was like 4 minutes of just burning through anything.
Yeah.
Like, what else? Wow, 15, that's super young to start doing stand-up. Tom,
Some would say
were you
too young.
16, 14, same area?
No, I'm like, I started doing kind of comedy adjacent stuff in high school when they started offering like theater sports, like, you know, kind of Whose Line Is It Anyway style short improv games.
Great.
I don't know, like basically they offered it as a winter sport, which meant that I could like do it in
sport.
Yeah, so like the sports you could do in winter were like
hockey or
like
improv.
Soccer. It was soccer, rugby, or like improv.
Wow.
And like so many other things other than improv. Improv was not popular. It was me and like 6 other kids. But I was like, fuck, man. It was a huge school, but it was sport obsessed.
Yeah.
And so everyone was in rugby. The rugby team that I was in before I started doing improv was the 10ths. Which means we were the 10th best rugby team at the school.
Wow.
There was one team, like there was a team called the 11ths, which we were over, which was all kids with like muscular dystrophy and stuff. And if like not enough of them turned up to the game, you got to play down there, and you felt like a god.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
it was like you'd bought all the pre-order stuff going into a game, and you just turned up with crazy over-leveled gear.
They had like 3 kids in crutches and 1 kid with no head. And
Yeah.
you were like, you guys suck at this.
You guys are really bad at this. Basically playing with the people they pan over to give you an idea of the like casualties of war.
Yep.
That's Mystery Mike. You have no idea where he's gonna go.
He's covered in bandages. The only way he's going is down.
He's got visible gout.
But yeah, we did like I started doing improv with this guy, with this like an English teacher who I guess did some improv, but then also was like, I'm going to teach you circus skills also.
Wow.
This week we are going to learn how to breathe fire. So we were just like putting like kerosene in our mouths and spitting it through a torch.
That's
Holy
so fucked
shit.
up.
That sounds
Yeah, it was-
awesome, though. I would have loved that. I don't know.
It was sick.
Yeah.
And then, that's not good for your mouth, though, right?
It
Yeah.
felt so
Pros and
bad.
Yeah, I would have
cons.
thought,
Yeah.
that might because it's not intended for the mouth, is it, Tom?
No.
And you don't get to like drink a candle like Homer beforehand and then not feel the kerosene.
No, you're walking around for like like until you go to sleep / into the morning going like, man, I sure did have some kerosene in my mouth.
I had a friend. I wouldn't even call him a friend, but the most popular kid in high school came over to my house one day, and it felt like an audition. I was like so nervous. I
That's
like
huge.
showed him to like the basement, like, yeah, so this is like where I hang out and stuff, and you know, it's whatever. And he was like, you got any Axe body spray? I was like, yeah, sure. And he went, go get it. Let's go to your garage. And I was like, okay. And so I went upstairs, got my axe, which obviously I had.
Chopped his head off and said, don't ask me that again.
Yeah.
Handed
Now
it
I'm the
to
most
him.
popular.
This is probably the lowest story of my life. Handed him the Axe body spray. He took out a lighter, did the like, and I was like, I don't think you should. That's dangerous. I don't know if you should do that. And then he left. That was my only hangout with Jack. I haven't talked to him since. He should be the next guest. I know.
It's not even a trick, Jack.
No,
You fucking idiot.
it was tough. But I feel like if it was like a school sanctioned thing, I would have been like, this is awesome. But I was like, my parents are going to send me to jail. Like, this is it.
I know Jack is popular, but I don't think he's a fire marshal. I don't trust him to do this.
It was
I
very
think he's
dangerous.
popular with Dad.
No.
He's popular with, Ben,
All the cool
That was-
kids.
Louise.
Yeah.
Sam Campbell, Aussie comedian, did a thing in Edinburgh one year where he opened his show by playing like a compilation video of dragons just like all screaming and breathing fire. And then in complete darkness, then he did the spray can through a lighter
Yeah.
thing for like 30 seconds, just completely stone-faced.
So dangerous.
Did it get
It
a
was
huge like
so
applause break? I would
Yeah.
have lost my shit.
Yeah.
Insane pop. It was a room full of like people in their like 20s, late 20s and their 30s being like, dude, I forgot that you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got a talking to, though, didn't he?
oh yes.
Yeah.
Do you-
Because the only places you can perform in Edinburgh are like unis uni buildings that they've cleared out for the Fringe and caves that they've like found
Yeah.
in
I
old
guess we
castles.
could do a show here.
Depending
yeah,
on
it's
genuinely
literally it's that. I did a show in a cave.
Yeah.
Did you ever do a show in a cave?
I did the first year I went there, I did one in like one where it was very dungeon-esque. And depending on the like venue you get when you go to the Edinburgh Fringe, you can kind of predict the kind of malady that's going to befall you.
Yeah, I
like
was
you
gonna
know
say, yeah.
the basics of the play you're going to wake up with because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the mold is gonna make you sick. You're in one
Dude.
of the leaky caves, which I was in.
I was in the leaky cave and I was
Yeah.
just like, I could see everyone around me getting sick with the same thing
Yeah.
because we were also like packing people into this
Exactly.
tiny space.
And then,
Yeah.
like 4 days in, they'd bring in one industrial fan, and then 6 days in, they'd
Yeah.
bring in another one to try and dry out at least the dressing room. You know,
God.
Not to blow out the mold, but to like cool the temperature. Like the fans being used for the wrong reasons.
yeah, basically.
You're hurting the mold, mate.
I got
Making it too hot in here. The mold's suffering. Mold
you-
is here before you are. It'll be here after you leave.
Oh, you want to get rid of the mold, mate? Actually, they're Scottish, aren't they?
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's
you
not-
want to get rid of the mold, eh? Well,
There it is.
that basically amounts to another audience member. So do you want your numbers to be lower, mate?
God, we're gonna get bombed for you just saying, "Oh, they're Scottish," and then continuing
Yeah,
on
I
with that accent.
I got 3 a.m. at the Leaky Cave. How many
Yeah.
times have you done Fringe Fest?
God, I think it's like 5 or 6.
Wow.
For me,
I think it's less than 5 or 6 for you because for me it's like
4, 5.
for me it's like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But I stopped going in the last few years. The first time I went, I was 19, and I went
That sounds
with
amazing.
wait, 19? Yeah, I was 19,
Mm-hmm.
or just about to turn 19.
Yep.
And I went with my then boyfriend. And I went because I won a competition. And when you win that competition, you get to go to Edinburgh and do their competition. And I won that one as well. And after I won it, my boyfriend said, yeah, you kind of did a shitty speech.
Oh.
I think I would have done better in that competition.
Wow.
So I didn't get to enjoy my win at all. And I went back to my Airbnb and was like, I'm going to read The Plague by Albert Camus. That will cheer me up.
As the saying goes, the boyfriend is the thief of joy.
The addition of also I would have done better as well. Not only like was yours bad, I would have done better.
And also he did the same competition that I won to get over there and failed at it years before. So like, no, you wouldn't have.
But also you won the competition.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, he would have done better.
No.
He's an absolute right-wing psycho now. He comes to your country
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's
You do Fringe Fest a few times. You're both performing a lot. How do you freaking meet?
We met at the Adelaide Fringe Festival, Kevin. We were sharing accommodation because we were.
No, we didn't meet then.
Well, we didn't meet then, but we were
friends. Yeah, that's where we got together.
Yeah.
But we met. You remember how we met?
I met you. Yes.
I was with Hing. I was having lunch with Hing.
Yeah, we got dumplings in Adelaide during the Adelaide Fringe, but the year before, and Demi was. She was riding a Razor scooter and wearing a tiny little backpack. And then during the lunch, she said,
"Well, yeah. I was having lunch with our friend Hing, who's Tom's best friend.
Cool.
And Tom like walked past and then joined us for lunch. There's famously a picture of that day where I'm riding my scooter with my little hat and backpack on, and Hing said, "Can you please dress differently when we meet? You're making me feel like a pedophile." And then we went in to have dumplings. Tom joined us, and then
Demi had the moment during the lunch where she was like, "Oh man, what's that one Queen song that goes like, we will rock ya, no." And like I looked at her and was like, that's so funny. And then I like just looked slightly to her right, and she has a tattoo of Freddie Mercury on her arm.
Holy shit. Wow, that's amazing.
Just such a great introduction to how stupid someone is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we stayed with each other in the next year and we fell in love.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you guys working on stuff together and then started dating? What's the
No, we literally just shared accommodation, and then like every time we would all like all of our we were sharing with like 4 other women, and then it was like Tom, and every time Tom would like leave. Yeah.
I know. I had my pick of the litter, and I chose the runt.
Yes, and you know why? We all thought Tom was gay. Everybody told us he was gay.
Yep.
He wore little shorts.
Definitely haven't had multiple people go, girlfriend, throughout my life.
Well, they do the same thing to me when I say that I'm married to a man.
Yeah.
But also Tom nearly fucked it because one night our friend was having sex with our sound tech in the next room. And we were texting each other being like, you can just hear everything, huh? And Tom was sleeping in the room across the hall in bunk beds because I was like, I'm not taking the room with bunk beds.
You got the Razor scooter.
I got the Razor scooter. I can't be in bunk beds.
Yeah.
So we were texting each other, and then we both came to our doors and were just texting silently and looking at each other.
I'm actually feeling big. Do
you want me not to tell?
No, I'm walking away to fill up my coffee, but I do want to be away from you while you tell the story.
So Tom, we were looking across the hall from each other and texting each other with like horniness spilling out of every pore.
Sure.
But both being like, oh, there's no way. And then Tom sent me a text that said, would you like to come over and have a platonic sleepover on the bunk beds?
Okay, it's very smooth. Nice.
He said the word platonic
sleepover on the bunk beds.
So I did, and I was like, well, that's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
This is never happening. I'm sleeping right above him. What the fuck? And we're still texting.
Yeah, that's wild.
Disgusting.
It's those early stages, I feel like it's so easy to screw up, both in the texting and just the overthinking of the little things. My first date with my wife, we went to this bar restaurant and they had like candy on the bar or something, and I'm vegan, and she was like, "Oh, do you want some of the candy?" And I went, so normally I don't say this so fast, but I actually can't. I would love to, but I actually can't because I'm vegan, but I don't want to say no. I love this. I would break it right now if I could. All I had to do was say like, "Oh, I'm good, but thanks." But I panicked and caved so hard.
Oh man.
I just needed to be away from that.
Yeah, we could have skipped like a week of you leaving the house and me going, "Ah!" and all the women in the house going, "Just go root him."
I know. Yeah, no, I fuck. Yeah,
So
well.
you meet, you're sleeping, you're doing platonic sleepovers. I love it. I imagine this is pre-podcast streaming stuff. Are you both still? Are you actors? Are you just doing stand-up? What's
this
happening?
this is 2017. Streaming only happened during pandemic, and podcasts happened after we've been together for like a year or so.
Yeah, I think we've been we've been going for like 5 or 6 years. I think with the podcast.
Yeah, some shit like that.
So it was really quick. We moved in together after 6 months.
Yeah. We're on some queer women time frame shit.
Yeah, we're
like
lesbians. We're lesbians basically.
Yeah, it was transitive property.
I did a quick move in too.
It's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, it was nice. I hated my apartment and was like, "I'm ready. Are you ready?" And my wife was like, yes, I guess so.
I think you're the one. I think we should move in together.
Let's do this.
You're like pulling your little like steamer trunk. You're pushing it out before you through the door when she's waiting in the hallway.
Yeah.
And all the crows that are trying to get out, and you're shoving them back through the door. You're like, I can't wait to get to our new place.
Chef Kevin walking into her house for the first time, turning on the hot water, it doesn't scream, and just turning and saying, "I love you, and I think we should be together at every moment." Damn, I really get a feeling for each other.
The kitchen sink doesn't whisper to me to do stuff.
That's not a locational problem. That's one that follows you wherever you go.
That's true. The person gets haunted, not the house. Isn't that right?
That's beautiful. The deal breaker for me with my apartment was I sold my car, and my landlord said, "Hey, your neighbor wants to pay you to use your parking spot because you're not using it." And I was like, "Okay, great." And they're like, "They'll give you $100 a month." And I was like, "Holy shit, I need that. That's awesome." They never paid me. And then when I brought it up with the landlord was like, "It's not my problem. Like that's your guys' thing."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Well, this is kind of," I like checked in every month, and they're like, "I'm working on it." And I was like, "Totally understand." So
I would have put snakes in their car. I would have like smashed the window on.
Demi has access to a lot of snakes. And
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
violence.
I have access to exactly, let me think, 3 snakes.
God, that's 2 more than I knew about. That sucks to find out.
One of them is very small.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, we've been together for a while. At that point, we were just like live performers doing, I'd done like 1 festival show, and Demi had been doing the circuit for ages, but we were just like, we'd met the year, when we got together, we'd met like the second time we'd met was when we were both nominated for Best Newcomer at Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Tom won it.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And then that same year, like a month and a half later, I won Best Newcomer in Sydney Festival.
Yeah, we just traded.
We traded.
But yeah, it was a nice time falling in love. Yeah.
It was a nice time falling in love.
Yes, shame about the rest of it.
Yes. Leave here.
Off I go.
So tell me about the early days for podcasting. So you start doing a podcast together the first year, after a year into your relationship.
Do you also have the thing where as soon you'll get the people who listen to a podcast from the start and it immediately fills you with like, "Oh God, no, don't do that."
No. Yeah. You can't listen from the start.
The audio quality of early BST is like Zoom H6 recorder on the floor, both of us drunk out of our minds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so brutal.
It is what I
Yeah.
really like about Twitch is the like how they kill a stream after 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine
That
with
makes
that
sense,
disappearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can't listen back to anything. Well, I feel like once I release a thing, I don't want to listen back to it. I'm too like
Yeah.
self-critical, or I'm just like making up stuff of like, oh, I should have said this. And it was like, well, that
Yeah.
was 6 years ago. Why would
Well,
I
you
have
already did it and you
Yeah.
didn't say that. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, I actually this is some crazy shit. I was like, oh, I do want to do a new show, and I feel like there's stuff I said in past episodes that could be jokes. Maybe I'll get one of my fans to go back and listen and give me timestamps and
Yeah.
tell me what the joke was. And I've now done that. It's working great. I'll tell you that. The really early ones where I'm like, nobody's going to be listening to this. I'll just scrape all the jokes out of it and put it into something else.
I like that. I have the opposite problem where a host will text me, can you go back through these episodes and remove things I said because I don't think they should be public? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep. That's fair.
A very specific, not even like just bad stuff, but the ones that I really enjoy are like someone gets announced to be working with, and this is a very like Hollywoody problem, but it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this person's doing a movie with this person, and they clowned on them so hard 6 years ago. So please go back and cut that. It's
Yeah.
very
That
funny.
rocks.
Yep.
Yeah. And most times people don't notice it. I know I'm dancing with the devil by saying that, but
Yeah, I guess that means that like I basically can never work with like the My Favorite Murder
I
ladies.
almost wouldn't start listing them. I would worry. I
Jimmy
would wonder
Fallon.
like what
Uh-huh.
you profit
the amount of
from
times
by
that I said I wanted to attack Jimmy
kind of
Fallon.
litigating all of your beefs
Yeah.
here.
I did a
We
lot.
we steered you away from one earlier, but
Yeah.
now here you are.
No, that
wondering
one's
about-
very public.
What'd you do, Kevin?
I did a lot on Whitney Cummings this morning with on a podcast and was
Brother.
like, well, I don't care.
See, Nicole Byer had Whitney Cummings on her podcast. That came
Oh,
up in an
yes,
ad, and I
that's
was like,
true.
"What the
What
fuck?
the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
That's crazy!"
the hell is that?
That got some mixed reactions. I saw some comments that people were not super happy about that.
Oh,
That's
um,
so weird. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Did
isn't
you
that?
not know? Like, what happened?
I don't know.
Ugh.
That's bizarre.
Oh, well.
I'm getting, and I shouldn't be, I'm getting more and more comfortable talking shit. And I know it will come back eventually. You might see it later in this podcast simulator with something I wrote out.
Sure.
Okay, before we get into podcast simulator, was the, and I should know this would be very basic research, was the Harry Potter show before Big Soft Titty, or was Big Soft Titty before, what was the first pods that came out? Like in what order?
Harry Potter was a bonus that we were sort of doing alongside Big Soft Titty.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was called We Have No Strong Feelings About Harry Potter.
Yep.
And then we as we've said, when we canceled it, we said, we now have strong feelings about Harry Potter. This movie is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And we can't watch it anymore. And also we've said since the start that we fucking hate J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we finally got to the point where we're like, I actually hate thinking about this and
Yeah.
thinking about like the person who made this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we developed strong feelings about it.
But we are.
But that was a pod where we watched like 12 minutes
Like
of Harry
increments.
Potter
Mhm.
and then do a fucking podcast about it.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was like looking into the future, like seeing the vast wasteland of Harry Potter spool out in front of you and be like, dude, we're gonna be doing this for years.
so many.
It was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, is
Thank you.
so long. It was
Well,
like,
I think it was Chamber of Secrets where we were like, fuck this shit.
yes, you're
Mhm.
right. Oh,
Yeah, Autumn Light says you need to do one about the Twilight movies.
That'd be
We
fun.
are.
yeah, we've
Whoa.
actually commissioned
We-
the artwork.
We
for
have the
it.
artwork and we're
Holy
doing
shit.
that.
Have you
So,
started
yeah.
watching it yet?
We love
Dude,
Twilight. We've watched
Do you
it
know
so
how
many
many times we've both
I
seen
don't
every
know.
single Twilight movie?
Oh.
It's unbelievable. Here's my favorite take of a line that they actually use twice in the movie. They just pretend that they ADR'd it. But
Yeah.
there's a point where Bella Swan says, Jacob! And they use the exact same take of her saying Jacob later. It's like
Whoa.
5 minutes later in the movie.
Yeah.
That's how many times we've watched it.
My favorite line is always going to
yeah.
be, I mean, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's Taylor Lautner when he finds out that Bella is pregnant, saying, so it's a bouncing baby boy. Wish I'd known. I would have brought some blue balloons.
Should have brought some blue balloons.
He says it.
Blue balloons.
He does not have it. Taylor Lautner, this is my take on Taylor Lautner. He is born one octave too high to be a leading man,
Yeah.
but they tried it for so long.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a werewolf, Bella.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so good.
We've got one of our Twilight posters over there for
Yeah.
Great.
it's for New Moon, and then I've got a 1 of 500 signed Taylor Lautner collage downstairs.
Holy shit.
Is it signed?
Yeah,
Oh,
And
okay.
he's married to someone named Taylor, right?
yeah, Taylor and Taylor.
She took his last name.
Wow. That's
Taylor.
Yes.
I Taylor. I read the books in high school and I was like, I guess I'm an emotional guy who's like really in touch with my feelings. And this is pretty, this is pretty incredible for me. So
I guess I'm an emotional guy.
me showing up, walking past Jack with the Axe body spray and just kind of putting my hand down like, not today, buddy. And then
No,
like,
buddy.
yeah,
Do
I
you
got
wanna
these
talk?
books. Yeah.
God.
Why don't we, I was going to say spray our feelings, but that sounds sexual.
Let's spray our feelings. Come on, man.
Hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
That's another line from the movies.
Ugh.
Yeah, sorry.
The have you watched the parody movies of it? I was watching Scream 2 days ago. I was talking to my wife about Scary Movie, and then we were talking about other like parody movies, and I was like, I remember there was some for the Twilight movies, and I never watched it, but just from like the images I saw, I was like, this doesn't seem like it's good.
That feels
No.
That's
like
how I
it's
found
going to
out
be.
you both are in it. I'm like, no, I loved it.
Well, he wrote and directed, but no, yeah, I think those would be like in the vein of epic movie, right? Like
Yeah.
that's way after Scary Movies 1 through maybe 3 have some
I
like
like Scary
they have
Movie
some
3.
belly laughs in there.
Scary
They're
Movie-
not good
Scary
apart
Movie
from
4.
Hmm.
Wait, Scary Movie 3 is with Charlie Sheen?
don't know. But I'll say this: it's not a full-throated endorsement. Don't worry about that. It's
Whoa.
not all aged well, but
Yeah.
it's vampires
has
suck
Sheen,
was by
yeah.
the epic movie people.
1 through 3 for Scary Movie. Yeah, there is some stuff where you really don't want to be endorsing it, but they do have some very, very funny parts.
Mm.
Charlie Sheen bonking his head on a light shade over and over is really good. That's what I like.
they're
That's
funny,
what me
man.
likes.
The bit in Scary Movie 1 where that guy has a micro penis is really funny.
And the bit where blonde lady married to Chris Barat gets stuck to the roof with cum.
Yes.
That's really
Yeah.
good too.
I'm going to read you off some segments. The Sucking Horse, Miniature Horses, Who's Grandpa, Pig Facts, Oops, All Into the Cosmo, Let's Get Updated. You have a lot of bizarre segments.
Hmm.
Mm.
How the hell you do this stuff?
Go fuck yourself.
My favorite segment that I used to do that I have kind of run out of like stuff to do was Suck Off Mario 69.
Okay.
Which was, like I have like these Mario or video game themed fan fictions, and I have all the titles and the descriptions, and then I come up with my own titles and descriptions. And I ran out of them because a lot of people are just doing really earnest ones and they're not working with the puns that all right, now Tom's brought up r/Lion King.
I just
Thank you
wanted
so
to check.
much, Tom.
No,
Yeah.
I was just gonna bring up like the things that I go
Tom,
on.
if you're gonna keep doing r/Lion King, you need to make a theme for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
My podcast.
let's not workshop it
Don't
live.
want to do it. Don't want to do
Let's not
that.
burn that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think we just kind of have our obsessions and horrid things that we think are funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you find,
What?
Well, you like
Yes. Name one thing I like.
crabs.
Yes, that's easy. Anyone could have said that.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead. No more.
Me.
Yes, I like you mostly. Yes.
Yeah.
More. Another thing.
Okay. My segments. But yeah, like we just like a lot of mine are just like things that I think are funny, or like my like obsessions that I'm then like, oh, if I put this in the podcast, then I can A, have a segment so we have something to talk about.
Yep.
And B, like retroactively class this time as work,
Yeah.
which is good. But yeah, it's all just like shit that we get obsessed with. Like I think Head Got Stuck is my favorite Demi segment, which is just it's the theme song is there's a difference between the
Let's play
segments
it.
that are
Let's just play it.
we don't
Let's
we
play
can't-
the theme song.
No,
Tom, go ahead and get the
I
theme
literally
song up.
can't do that with the way the routing works.
Go ahead and get the theme song
But
up,
the
okay?
way that like I think some of them
Ted.
yeah, some of them are top down and some of them are bottom up. Like some of them the theme song
Like Head Got
exists
Stuck.
and then the segment
I said like head got stuck, top down,
Yeah,
Yes.
bottom
Head
up.
Got Stuck, I think was,
That's
yeah,
right.
just, I did do the theme song and then was like, well, now to go find some stories about people's heads getting stuck.
Yeah.
Which, fine. That's a fine way to do things.
Yeah, all of mine are either Google News alerts or like various communities that I go to and scroll through for a long time until I find like something to talk about, like r/soup, who I've been
Yeah,
obsessed
Soup is
with
good.
recently.
Soup.
I'll experiment with both. I'll do like what Demi just described of like a
Mm.
thing I thought of this morning was swipe, wipe, or dipe. And it's a game show that is like relationship, personal hygiene, like need help wiping, or like something with a baby and diapers. And I will spend so much time trying to reverse engineer something off of the title that
Yep.
with my experience never really pays off. Where I'm like, well, this title fucking rocks, and then I'm spending way more time trying to be like, now how would the diaper connect to the personal hygiene thing? And then it's like, well, I could have just come up with a different idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
hard
then
to come up with an idea.
it is, and then I do the same thing where I'll have the night guard in. I'm looking at my phone, and then my lovely wife will be like, "Hey, did you know?" I'm like, "Just a second, I'm almost done brainstorming," and then we'll like finish writing a lyric of like, it could actually be like that, and like, sorry, what'd you say? And so I hate that too, where sometimes I will view like just doom scrolling as like, well, I'm doing research.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the
which is not where you want to find yourself, because I've had many friends go insane by being journalists and having to read about politics
yeah.
and working
100%.
that way. You don't want to make your work something that drives you absolutely into lunacy.
Do you like a lot time for like, I'm going to spend a half an hour just trying to come up with an idea for a podcast or a stream, or is it more just organic or a combo? I think it's a combo for me.
I'm gonna say with Tom that there are several costumes and
Yeah.
devices
Mhm.
in this room that he hasn't used yet and have been here for about a year. So, I mean, speak on that.
Yeah, no, a lot of my stuff has been delayed because I got obsessed with playing a game with fast cars in it. And
That's
like
right.
I have like a Mr. Bean costume that I've literally been promising to wear for like a year, dude. And I've got hey, it's going to go on at some point. I promise you that.
There was
Yeah.
a deadline on it, and I went to charity shops with you to find the perfect tie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, but yeah, for me, I try and like have some time each week where I'm like, oh, okay, this is like earmarked segment time. This isn't just dull scrolling. I'll like put it in a document or whatever
Tom
and
is
build
like-
up a.
Tom is a genius at searching for stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, the perfect. You're actually a genius at it.
I don't think I'm a genius, but I think the funniest thing I've ever done was going onto Pornhub.com and typing into the search bar "my invention,"
Yeah,
because
unbelievable.
It's-
That's
What'd
so
you find?
smart.
dude, there's a guy up there fucking a watermelon. He's like tied to a harness in a tree.
Wow.
And he's outdoors. Then there's another guy who's fucking who's fucking a fleshlight. He's attached to a drill.
Yep. There's another guy
So good.
There's another guy who strapped like a portable pussy to a chair, and he's just rocking the chair back and forth on his dick.
It's so funny, man. You know what? Here, let's do a quick check-in with our old buddies.
I don't think that's a great idea. I don't even think it's a good idea to just bring it up while we're talking to our friend Tom.
Okay, that's
I think
fine.
it's actually probably not even good.
Everyone trying to see off of the reflection off your glasses, like, I think I can get them demonetized.
Tom why did you could have just shut the window. Tom looked at the button that said I am over 18, enter, and clicked I am under 18 before he shut the Pornhub window.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see what had happened. Back in the day, you used to click that and it would take you to a site with games on it.
Wow.
Do you not remember that? I don't know. I don't know that it was Pornhub, but yeah, I remember being like,
or something.
Yeah, I remember being honest and it taking me like to a site with crosswords on it, and my horny ass just being like, this doesn't quite scratch the itch that I have.
My game blowing up because it's killing when people hit no on that Pornhub like intro thing.
Yeah.
It's where most people play my game is they click no on Pornhub.
Yeah, I get all of the horny and guilty children playing this stuff.
I work with this sketch and improv group a lot. They're called Big Grande. They're super funny.
I love Big Grande.
I recorded them this weekend. They're the best. They released a sketch called The Funeral like 5 or 6 years ago, and they uploaded it to Pornhub and just called it The Funeral. And to this day, it's the biggest, like the highest performing sketch they've ever released on any platform. And all of the comments are like, came here to jack off, but these guys are actually pretty funny.
Yeah, there's like I found like a while back, there is like a safe for work tag on Pornhub, which is like,
wow, interesting.
Yeah, it's really strange. There was a guy like just uploading his t-shirts, being like, hey guys, got a new t-shirt haul.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Whoa, t-shirt haul.
Fucking jack off to that shit.
A guy doing a jigsaw. There's a guy, I think, the big like Pornhub safe for work guy right now is like a guy who just does Legos.
Oh, really?
And records himself doing Legos.
Because
Yeah, I know, right? So here I am, everybody.
I was looking through obscure tags on Pornhub once for that kind of stuff, but then found that a video had a very strange title, and I cannot remember what it was, but it was a divorced couple that were boning again, and the lady just kept saying, "I'm so proud of you" to him, and started crying with laughter. What are you talking about?
The porno that really made me laugh was I found one. I was like, what's up with the people who are into like giantess stuff? And it really makes me laugh because it's all just women putting their phone camera down at their feet and then looking down and going, hello there. It's so funny to me.
I wrote a song parody for this charity stream we did for Flagrant Ones last week, and I was trying to again reverse engineer
that song parody. By the way, Kevin,
Tom
I saw
played
that.
it to me. I had no idea what was going on.
Thank you.
Incredible
It's
work.
chaos. It's a parody of this Bo Burnham song called "Welcome to the Internet." I wanted to come up with a lyric for the porn star Riley Reid, Carl Tart for reference. Anytime. Like we're recording a Zoom and I'm like, he's like, Kevin, can you turn your camera on? We'll ask you a quick question about it. If I'm more than 1.5 seconds late, he'll go, those Riley Reid videos. And it's been like a 4-year bit. And so I was like, well, I have to put something with Riley Reid. And was like, maybe there's like a category I could reference. And so I'm seated here looking at the Pornhub categories. And my wife walks in and we start talking about like a gas leak that we had in our house and how we're like going to pay for the gas leak and like, will the construction company pay for all of it or do we have to pay for all of it?
Oh, I thought when you said we're going to pay for the gas leak, you're going to be like, yeah, I keep growing these mushrooms on the right side of my forehead. We're paying for it.
I'm really suffering the effects of the gas leak right now. I say with my porno up and visible as I talk to my wife.
And I'm just kind of like slowly with my right hand just like closing the tab of like No, yeah, we'll call him tomorrow and we'll figure it out. Like making sure the volume's off and everything. But that was bizarre. Anyway, before we get into Podcast Simulator, I want to talk about streaming as well. And just kind of like pros and cons of podcasting and streaming for both of you. I love both, but as you can see, I'm late to every single one of these because there's always like a technical issue I'm having. But it's also easier than podcasting because it's like when it's up, it's done. So I don't know. Are there things that you favorite things about both, things you dislike about both?
I think the amount of technical acumen that you have to have is something people don't understand, and that's my least favorite fucking thing. Just before, I installed like a weird fucking tool to finally stop my computer from auto adjusting my volume down to my mic volume specifically down to 55
because it just does that for some reason
every single time. Like I had to like just go onto a website, install like some piece of software, or like, you know, craft my own batch file. Fucking it sucks shit, man. All the audio is so hard all the time.
Yeah. And I am stupid, so like I have to you know, if there was just some kind of like Pixo or Bebo website style thing where you can just drag shit over into OBS and then say, can you please just do it right? That's what I would want. But there fucking isn't. The simplest thing is OBS, and it's great, but it sucks. That's I
did
I make up for that for being aggravating at all other times. So then when it looks like shit, I'll be like, well, yeah, we're just playing soup or naturals. Do you think I'm looking at tits or some soup?
Haha, it's intentional. Haha.
Haha, haha. It's haha. It's supposed to be like this. Haha.
I did a call with someone like a few weeks ago who was saying that they wanted to get into Twitch stuff. And I at a certain point, I'd be like, I mean, they were like, I'm really bad with tech. And I was like, I'm really good with tech, and I really don't know if I'd recommend this for you. It's so much harder. And then they were like, maybe I could do it from my phone. And I was like, good luck. You can try.
Yeah.
Try doing that for sure.
Why do you want to do it? Are you like just...
Do you think like, you'll have fun?
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing it to nobody, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but
yeah, that's one of the ones we can't talk about on the podcast is the r/Twitch.
Oh man, the Twitch subreddit is so brutal. Have you found your way there yet, Kevin?
Once or twice. It was pretty grim. It was just a lot of like, does anyone else think this is like the hardest thing? And people are like, you just got to keep grinding. And I'm like, well, I don't like either side of this.
No,
it's so bad. But I think that the thing that this has going for it, along with podcasting, is just being your own boss. Like, the thing that's always like staggered me in terms of like performance shit is thinking about what it's like to live as just a person who's just an actor. So you're just sitting around waiting for like a call or an audition or some shit. You have no control over anything. Here you can just like go live, you know, you make your schedule, you figure out what you're going to do or whatever. But like without that, I wouldn't be doing shit, man. It would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to do your own stuff. And then, like you said, ephemeral if you want it to be, or you can like pay someone to edit it up or edit it up yourself for YouTube, try and build something over there. Yeah, it's cool.
I worked at a network for 5 years, and there was just the middleman that you're talking about too, was just like how they could decide like you're done with this show, we're moving you to this other show. And it wasn't always like that bleak, but it was like, we'd really like you to do this. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, well, it's you, or we're not doing the show, and we're doing the show. And just kind of being put in positions like that where it's like, why do I have to have all of these meetings with departments that I don't work with? And like all of the like mandatory policy stuff was really boring and frustrating. And don't worry, they've all been laid off. So
Yay!
And that's part of it too. It's like a weird recurring thing on this is I don't want to choosing to do stuff solo. What I like about it is like, well, I could put as much or as little time in it as I want. And there's no like third party, I guess Twitch, but there's no third party going like, you're actually done. We're not going to let you do this anymore. And similar with podcasting, like working with hosts, like relying on other people who can go like, hey, you did great. I don't want to do the show anymore. So I'm done paying you because the show's over. Just having a thing that is just you is, to me, very comforting in a world where everyone is like, you know, like I said, getting laid off or fighting to find like a new place to work and stuff. So, you know, there's no insurance and that stuff is not very fun. But I don't know. I find it weirdly comforting just being like, all right, I'm going to do it every Monday. I'm going to ask my friends if they'll hop on and we'll make it work. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's very freeing. And I think the only real job I think I ever had was Hungry Jack's. But I did have
that's Burger King.
Burger King.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then I did, through comedy, be an actor for a while, and that was dog shit in the same way that you're saying. People are just like, well, that sucked. And I was like, yeah, I told you it sucked. Yeah. I told you how to make it better, and now we don't have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with streaming is you have complete control over it, whereas like every time I've gone to do, something filmy, I'm amazed. It's come out like with decisions that I wouldn't have made or whatever, you know?
Same.
And
we're smart.
It sucks to see stuff that you're just like, dang, I don't even know how you could possibly think that that's the right decision to make there.
Yeah.
Some jobs we're glad we didn't get because you see the decisions after.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Especially in Australia.
Yep.
I have that to a smaller degree with like podcast of like, oh, it would have been cool to work on this show or that show. And then getting coffee with the producer like a year later, like, you don't want to work on this. This is really bad and it really sucks.
Yeah, right.
Funny to see that in podcasting specifically where feels like a similar thing to Twitch of like, oh, this is like a light, fun thing that doesn't feel like a boring 9 to 5, but then it can like 180 so quickly of like, I don't know, some people specifically are just like, it gets way too intense. And then it's like, well, this is like unnecessary stress. It's just kind of
I think you would have been great as the producer of Talk Tour, Kevin.
Yeah.
I know that you felt kind of sore about missing out on that, but I do think you would have been great with Moose, that gigantic dog.
That fucking dog.
I applied specifically to watch Moose. And so that's why I was mad when he would walk through the interviews. I was like, this the one
I
thing
could have fucking prevented this.
When essentially a fifth wall would appear and block Haley and the guest. Just a fifth gormless wall would trundle through the set.
Looks like it shouldn't be alive.
God, I love that.
We'll see if Talk Tour comes up in my podcast simulator that I made for you both. Perfect segue. Thank you for doing that for me. Okay, so every time I've had someone on, a host specifically, I've had them be the host of the show. You are the first that I'm actually allowing to be the producer of the show. I'm very excited about this. And it was a similar, I was like, here's a fun idea, and then let's work from there. So you're going to be co-producers of the show Almost Human, raw and real conversations with Norm the Cat and Cutie Pie, two people you both have discussed at length on your show. Today, you'll be producing the weekly chat show hosted by Black Eyed Peas lead singer will.i.am's podcast co-host, Cutie Pie, and an AI version of your cat, Norm, a.k.a. Normie.
Normie.
What do you think about this? Any initial thoughts about producing the new hit show, Almost Human?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, anyone that doesn't know, Cutie Pie is also an AI. So, you know, kind of setting these two models up against each other is going to be, it's going to be a real Godzilla v. Kong ordeal where whoever wins, we win. This is awesome.
Yeah. Do you want me to go get the Norm?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to get Norm.
Yeah, go ahead and get the cat to wiggle at the camera.
I'm going to wiggle him.
Yeah.
Is will.i.am still doing this show with Cutie Pie? So if you're not familiar, I'm sure everyone is. You have played, one of my favorite episodes was you playing clips of their podcast that is exclusive to a specific app. Oh, look at Norm, freaking Wiggletown. I love this so much.
Look at him go. That's a good cat. He's so big.
Norm rocks.
He's so cool.
Demi just leaves and doesn't come back.
Yeah. Demi just bounce passes him off screen. So I've got to get back to that app. One of the Go Off Kings mods actually did me the favor of like ripping all of the data from the app so we just have access to it.
Oh,
but
great.
yeah, what he's doing now is will.i.am is not having conversations with the AI so much anymore. Now it's will.i.am for now it's and the AI is sat down and interviews a celebrity and talks to them.
Great.
And so it'll be like Apple the app is sitting there and an AI and he's holding a phone and he talks into the phone and the AI like generates questions and is like, wow, that sounds like some really incredible rhythms. Where do you get your ideas?
Yeah.
Like it's nutty.
It's slightly
funny.
better than me interviewing you guys. Okay, that's again, perfect segue into the description of the show. Each week, Norm E and Cutie Pie chat with moguls in business, showbiz, sports, and tech. With conversations so deep and real, you'd probably forget that it's hosted by AI. Your role as producer is to book the biggest names in not only podcasting, but in the world. That's more of a guest booker, but it's a huge part of your job. You also pitch fun segments to the host, not that they need it, and try to avoid any controversy. Good luck. Okay, here is the first simulator question.
Sorry, seeing the follow alert for dog puking behind cam girl there made Demi laugh.
Perfect.
Oh my lord.
Here we go. For the first episode, you book a huge name, billionaire, entrepreneur, Shark Tank co-host, Dallas Mavericks owner, and talk to a guest, Mark Cuban. However, the unthinkable happens. Mark says he'll only agree to do the show if the episode can be exclusive for 1 week on his new video game system, GameCube. Mark would prefer you do a brief intro for the video before it starts and says, hey, we're Tom and Demi. We produced the new hit show, Almost Human, exclusively on GameCube. Enjoy this episode, and remember, stop tubing and start cubing. This is a reference to when reporter Jeffrey Toobin was caught masturbating on Zoom. Tom and Demi, do you agree to this and do this, or do you pass respectfully?
I think we push gently back on it being exclusively because it's only 1 week, right? There's only one episode that's exclusive. So I think we amend the language. But also I feel like, if the GameCube blows up, that's huge for us.
Yep.
If it doesn't, hey, nobody knows about it. That's fine. Yes.
It's basically a win-win.
And I say this for sure.
Great.
I love how much it rhymes.
Me too.
And I
What
enjoyed
rhymes?
it. Well, stop tubing and start cubing. And I
Oh, I
also
see.
like that the GameCube kind of sounds like GameCube, which might be an oversight on Mark's part.
I think it was intentional and a very creative decision. Congratulations.
Wow.
You've successfully created a massive launch for your new podcast. So, and just with that, obviously, if you both could please say the lines for GameCube.
You want to do it at the same time, or do you want to?
Why don't we trade off sentences?
Okay, well, because
Okay.
I'm a voice actor.
Okay, why don't you do it?
No.
And you did miss a voiceover thing today, so it's perfect.
I did, yeah. I'm very sweaty and sick. No, let's trade off sentences, I think.
Great.
All
Okay.
right.
Hey, we're Tom and Demi.
We produced the new hit show Almost Human exclusively on GameCube.
Enjoy this episode and remember.
Stop tubing and start cubing.
Very
Join
good.
AHM today.
Oh, god damn.
You crushed it. That will be a perfect intro for the first episode. Nice job. Let's go to the next scenario.
Do you need more options for the interest in your rental?
God.
Wow, the show is an instant success. It has more downloads than every episode of bigsofttitty.png and Hollywood Handbook combined. And you've only released 1 episode. For the second episode, you want to think outside the box. What if instead of a real guest, you get another AI? With a few emails, you book a huge name, AI Steve Jobs. This will be AI Steve Jobs' first official public interview. However, the unthinkable happens. You assume because all of the talent is AI that you don't need to book a recording studio. That interview will just kind of happen on ChatGPT or something. But because Cutie Pie is SiriusXM's first AI host, they own the IP and made sure all recordings happen in their studio. So the question is, and it's blocked off by your video, so I'll just tell you, do you show up unannounced to Sirius and record the episode, or do you cancel the recording entirely? Both kind of risky scenarios. What are you leaning? Again, the options are show up unannounced to the recording studio and just try to record, or do you just cancel it altogether?
I feel like SiriusXM will be absolutely bussing with podcast records. I don't know that we'll find any room in the space.
Oh no, we'll find room because somebody will be cancelling anyway. Because this is the
with culture nowadays.
Exactly, with
Freaking
culture
somebody's getting
nowadays, it's like
cancelled
somebody wokes up and they get cancelled.
Yeah.
So I think we go there and you just use the swagger and confidence and be like, well, we had an email chain that I guess Jennifer missed, just hoping there's a Jennifer.
Walk in with a high vis vest as well, and just holding a clipboard. We get ourselves a place.
We have the gas meter. We got we got the little gas guy and being like, sorry, whatever's going on in Studio 7 needs to stop now because we've had a report.
Yep.
The CEO's name is Jennifer, so Demi nailed it.
Wow.
Yes.
Here we go. We're going to go with show up unannounced and record.
Yes.
Fortunately for you, SiriusXM just laid off another 100 employees, including several of my close friends.
Yo!
Although you get a little bit of a hard time from security, the studios are now very available. You use some charm and charisma to work a little magic at the front, and you pull off the big recording. You walk by the posters of Sirius's $125 million deal with Caller Daddy and their $100 million deal with Smartless and sit in a coffin-shaped chair to record the episode. Congratulations, Tom and Demi. You get an A as a producer. You made the right decision. You're killing it. We're going to go to the next scenario, Live Nation. Let's see what that says. Pack your bags. You're going on tour. That's right. Time to cash in on a 75-city tour in just 5 days. Several shows happen on the same night. How do you do a live show with AI hosts? You replicate what the gorillas would do when they perform live and have like the animated drawings on big screens. And both hosts are stunning. Cutie Pie has huge gazungas and Normie is hanging pipe. However, the unthinkable happens in Germany. The live engineer interrupts the show to say there was an issue recording the audio. Normie responds, "What's German for dumbass? Just kidding, I know. It's Dummkopf." Everyone gasps. Do you cut Normie being mean to the engineer out of the episode? Or
absolutely not.
No, we do not. We leave that in.
There's no fucking way.
We're raw. We're kind of, we're able to play nasty, even with our employees, which kind of makes us fun and relatable.
And nobody thinks this fluffy cunt isn't a piece of shit already, so it doesn't change anybody's views of him, I don't think.
Yeah. We're going Segura mode.
We are leaving it. We're going Tom mode.
We're going Tom mode?
Savage.
Let's go with last names.
That's true. The Savage Takedown brings in a whole new audience. Congratulations. Now bros love your podcast. You're approaching Joe Rogan level numbers. I see you personally getting thanked by a president in your future.
Oh, this rocks.
Yes,
producer grade.
We're so good at this.
A. Next
it rocks
scenario.
to be playing a game that calls enough on real life that even winning feels really bad.
Yeah.
Well done, Kevin. You've successfully made like the Spec Ops The Line of making me think about content creation.
Next scenario. A long-lost lover wants to reconnect. will.i.am posts a selfie of him recording with Cutie Pie back in the day. Little Throwback Thursday post. With the caption, "I miss us." On the next episode, Cutie Pie says she'd like to bring back her old podcast with Will. She'd continue doing Almost Human, but thinks it could help the show if she brought back the pod with Will. Tom and Demi, as the producers of this show, do you allow Cutie Pie to bring back the show with will.i.am, or do you say, I don't think you should do it?
It might be a good creative outlet for Cutie Pie, but I think will.i.am needs to focus on his projects with AMG and his most recent LG Boom line of speakers more than anything. So it's not that I'm making the decision for us. I'm making the decision to increase the amount of will.i.am in the rest of the world.
Yeah, so I've been feeling really cold right here.
Okay.
So I'm going to need will.i.am to make a new wearable tech for me, preferably a bracelet.
Oh, you're going to need a new Pulse smart cuff?
Yeah, so I'm going to need him to work on the next iteration of that because I'm really cold just here. So,
that's kind of good to hear, because the good thing about the Pulse smart cuff is it gets unnervingly hot to the touch.
Yeah.
And also, of course, it is so unchanging in size that if you close it around your wrist, it will dig into your skin and draw blood.
It will pinch the skin, yes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm feeling completely unpinched. I feel like I'm in a dream world. So I think that if I had a cuff that could just pinch me constantly.
We need Will.i.am out there in the world. Cutie, I'm so sorry, but I don't think this show is...
You can't do it.
Yeah, no.
We're going with
It's not what we need.
Do not do the show.
Our professional advice, don't do the show.
This missed opportunity could have been huge.
No.
People love when a podcaster talks to a person who the fans know from originally. I don't know a better way to word that. But basically, unfortunately, you failed.
No.
I understand where your heart is, but this is what most people know Cutie Pie from, the AI Cutie Pie. And unfortunately, this could have been huge. So we have to go back, and we are going to go with do the show and see what happens.
I'm going to go for this time. I'm going to say don't do the show because I've been thinking about the way that Cutie Pie interacts with... So, okay, you've already done it.
So, Demi, this has happened before. The first few times I did Podcast Simulator, I would do it with the chat. And they would fail and then
constantly
keep just doing the fail over and over again.
I've got the traitor's brain.
Yeah.
You can, just do the show.
We're going to do the show, and this reboot is huge and bring some runoff to Almost Human. Great job, gang. You get an A as a producer. We're going to move on to the final scenario. Let's see what happens.
Demi, stop poking your burn.
Okay.
Tom leaning over with the night guard in. It's just saying, whispering to Demi, "Pinch me," and pointing to his wrist. Final scenario. A jealous normie starts getting noticeably more mean on the podcast. He hosts segments called Black Eyed Suck and Will I Won't. Cutie Pie threatens to quit the show if Normie keeps behaving like this. However, the tense back and forth creates a massive peak in downloads. People love the drama. So, as this is going on and you feel the tension in the air, a similar question to before, do you cut this to make things seem a little smoother, or do you leave it as is, just keep airing all of the drama?
What I think is that we keep airing all of the drama, but what I do is I go to Cutie Pie and I say, hey, why don't we do something really, really passive-aggressive about how much AI cats suck dick and how annoying they are when they keep talking about your past and trying to own you and only you, and you can't have any other friends. Do a segment like that and just see where it takes us. Maybe we even out the playing field.
Yeah, I think I let it go, and the reason I allow it is I'm kind of treating all of this like a booster rocket taking us on to bigger and better things. And I figure this way I'll be well set up to be part of like Normie's next podcast or Cutie Pie's next podcast and kind of maybe even get a few speaking roles myself. So yeah, I let it roll.
Yeah.
All right, we're going with allow it. Let's see what that decision results in. Normie's segments bring a ton of extra listeners. Unfortunately, the unthinkable happens. Cutie Pie becomes so mad her extra energy takes out entire nations' power grids.
No.
She also becomes an actual robot and spends the rest of her days blowing up every computer until Normie is dead. It was a great pod, though. So as producers, you get an A. World great is not great. It's not looking good with AI, but you made a hell of a show. And that's it, gang. That's the podcast simulator. I think you won.
I think we did too.
Yeah, we had a great streak going there. And all the big podcasts seem to, not worry about their impact on the world at large as long as the number stays high.
Yeah.
So it felt good to kind of get that cold blood in our veins.
Yeah, and I was about to riff on like some of the things that people advertise, but I don't know what Chef Kevin is involved in, so I'm not going to do it. In our podcast, sometimes the podcatcher says, hey, why don't you guys go join the army or go to the casino? And that's not always our favorite thing, but podcasts don't care about the world.
I really should be more pushing on advertisers than I am people. I'm much more likely to work with another person than I am like a weird ad. But I don't know why I go like, yeah, fuck this person. And then like 2 weeks later, I see on a calendar like, oh, they're going to be there. But then I'm like, oh, leave Squarespace alone. It's like,
yeah. Actually, that mattress is very good for the price.
Or so I've been told. Thank you so much for doing this. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Go listen to bigsofttitty.png. Subscribe to the Patreon. Anything else you'd like to plug and promote while I have you?
I'm in a D&D podcast called Dragon Friends. We did our first season of like season 2. We just did a really stupid photo shoot for our next season where our friend Michael Hing is the DM. We're all like actually like a tiny bit like feeling nauseous about going into the episodes with him DMing. So
cool.
It'll be cool. Is there anything
Tension makes for downloads.
That's
yes,
true.
that's what we learned.
Yeah. No, I just thank you for having me.
Yeah,
like,
this was
so
a blast.
good.
Long term, like a Hollywood Handbook and Flagrant One's fan. So it's sick.
I really
Thanks.
appreciate it. Yeah, super generous of you guys to do this. Very nice. Check out you guys on Twitch. Check out the podcast. I'm gonna raid these stinky Go Off Kings.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. See
I'm gonna go watch them.
See what kind of shit they're getting into. Anything I would like to promote? Next week, I don't have a guest lined up, but I think they will be entertaining is what I'm gonna say. And I will think of who to have on later today. Thanks everyone for watching, and enjoy the Stinky Kings. I'm rating them now. And
bye everybody.
Bye. Thank you.